Okay, this how-to video is going to go through OrCAD CIP, or the Component Information Portal, and just give you a brief overview about what this is and what it contains. So CIS, effectively OrCAD CIS, allows you to have a Windows compliant database and then put all the property information for your parts into this CIS database. So CIP actually gives you a structured database. You haven't got to worry about making one yourself. It's a pre-structured database. It comes with the 5,000 part starter library as well. It gives you interfaces into people like DigiKey and Future and RS and Mouser, so you can extract all their parametric information, their costings, their quantity on hand. So we'll give you a brief run through of the ability to do this. So I get a CIP tab if I install the software, which allows me to quickly access the software. I can also access this from an HTML window, so if I go to the web page, you can see effectively I get the same interface here, so I don't necessarily need to have my OrCAD Capture license to be able to use the CIP portal. I can actually access it from a window, so you could get your purchasing people to add costing information or update parametric data if you wish. So I'm just going to log into CIP. You can use your Windows authentication as well if you wish, or configure it that way. And this brings up kind of a default window of all the parts. So I've got some tabs, admin, so I can do things like adjust user access, the different control views. I can synchronize the distributor information, so I can actually get up-to-date costing information and quantity on hand from the distributors. I've got a component tab, so I can look at all the different parts. So let's go and look at a capacitors, for example, the capacitors table. So this is going to give me the basic property information that I've got in my database, so part number, description, PCB footprint, number of pins. I get preview buttons for things like the PCB footprint, which will actually bring up the Allegro free viewer and show me a PCB footprint. I get the same for a schematic part, so I can preview the schematic symbol. I can actually place directly onto the canvas if I have it here as well. I'm also going to get things like manufacturing information, and you can see I can have multiple suppliers for the same company part number, which can ease when you're doing bomb scrubbing and things like that, or trying to get all your purchasing people to order parts. You can actually add multiple manufacturers. I'm also going to get distributor information as well at the bottom, so Farnell, part number, their quantity on hand and their costing information. I get a history tab, so anytime anybody makes a change to this part, it will record the change. It will show me who made the changes, what the changes were, and what those parts are. I also get a where used tab, so if I upload the bill of materials from the BOM tab, I can find out which bill of materials call up this specific company part number. Great for when the part goes obsolete and you're trying to work out which products have used that BOM, so you have all that information to hand. There's a CIS distributor search tab that allows me to go and find parts or look for parts that I have already, and it also allows me to do a distributor search. So let's go and add a new part. So we'll go to the distributor search. We can search people like Arrow, DigiKey, Future, Farnell, for example, as well, and I can pick a part. So let's go and look for an LMV7231. So these are the parts that's come back with: DigiKey, Arrow, Farnell. The one with the most quantity on hand is obviously DigiKey. There's a slightly cheaper one here, but quantity on hand isn't quite the same. Part numbers are slightly different. Let's have a look at this one. This is the one I'm specifically interested in. It's giving me the parametric data for things like part number, manufacturer, the voltages, the mounting types, current information, and you can see I also get the pricing information and the quantity on hand. So if I'm happy with this, I can then go and add this to my database. So I can choose the table that I wish to add this to. I can either create a temporary part or I can add it to an existing part. In this example, I'm going to create a temporary part because it's a new part. Schematic symbol, I can either browse for parts that exist in my database already. So have I got a schematic symbol for this part? Doesn't look like it. So we'll just click on new and we'll give it a name. So LMV7231. PCB footprint, again, have I got an existing PCB footprint for this? Probably not. So I'm going to click on new. We'll do RTW24. We'll then go and add this part to my database. This creates temporary part 398. So if I went to my my main schematic canvas window, press Z to place the database part, look at the ICs, I've got the unassigned part type, and there's effectively my part that's added, temporary part 398. So we could click on this part. There's a schematic symbol. There's a PCB footprint that I found from other resources, and I've added that. And I can then go and effectively use this in my design. So double click to add the part. I'm now effectively using this part. The CIP tab also allows me to go and edit this part. So I can edit this. I can start to be a bit more specific about this. So maybe I want to assign my company part number. Maybe I need to assign the number of pins. So it's a 24-pin device. It's the package height is 2mm, so we'll put the package height as 2mm. So you can just start to adjust what you need and edit the properties that you need. The part type is a specific field, so I could say, you know, my company name / it's an SMD device, and it's a hex device. So if I accept those changes now, and what we'll do is we'll just refresh the CIS Explorer window. When I look for that part again now, you can see it's added my company part table. It's an SMD, it's a hex device. It's got my company part number in there as well, so I can start to use that. It's bringing in the parametric data for things like costing and quantity on hand, which is really, really useful.